Welcome back to Heartland Arms, your number one source for training and firearm education. We've talked a lot about positions. There's a lot of stuff we covered. I think we're getting down to the final basics here. And I know we talked about dry firing and a lot of stuff. I did want to talk about a product, and now we're not sponsored by anyone particular. We don't have any affiliation with any of what we're going to show you. But can we throw that on the? Do you have that on the
I do.
picture in picture?
I do not.
Oh, okay. So
Go
these
ahead.
are the best dry fire training systems, and a lot of these are going to be laser systems. Okay. So let's scroll down a little bit. Right
Let's
there, there's a
see.
laser one right there.
This one?
That is probably a couple of them there. Two over, right
That
there.
one.
The three on the end are the lasers right there. So
Ah,
you have target system, you have all of those. So those are, yeah, those three right there are the best.
okay.
Um, that's laser hit. Um, Pretty good. We're not affiliated with them. So we're not part of what they are, but it basically uses a laser. It basically chambers in there for you. It uses a laser to shoot instead of live rounds. It does allow for safe practice at indoor, at home, and things of that nature. It gives you instant feedback on accuracy and movements. So it's really good because generally they have them with your phone. You could like set up your phone and you could score yourself. I know there's a couple people that I know that use it and they post their scores. It's almost like a game to them, which is pretty good. It gives you instant feedback. It helps build consistency with your grip, your stance, your trigger control, because you could practice all that without live rounds, and you could practice where that's going to go. So it helps build. Oh yeah, when I'm off because I'm gripping it and I have my grip off. So when I do that, it helps build. And anytime you could do that repetitive with a firearm, that you go through the same motions over, you're building that muscle memory for yourself. Okay, they basically allow sensors to detect where the shot placement is. Remember, that's key. Shot placement matters more than how many rounds you have there. If you have 10 rounds and only one could find close to the target, it's not really worth it. So now some of the basic ones that we were showing here, they can be anywhere from 50 to 80 bucks. Some of the intermediate go from 100 to 250. And then they have full systems that are like really crazy systems that can be like 250 all the way up to like 500 plus dollars. They're getting pretty crazy. Basically, there's a target that you're going to have, and some of them just use paper targets. Some of them use uh, a light diodes, like an infrared system that it will use, almost like anybody that played old Nintendo duck hunting knows that that was just an IR in the piece connecting with bouncing off of itself and reconnecting. That's kind of the same thing. Um, they have multi-target systems. They have subscription-based apps. There's all kinds of. When you get into the laser targeting, it can get kind of crazy too. What I would recommend is if you're just starting out, start off with something simple. If you only have one firearm, some of them have just like the one piece that can go into one firearm. If you do have several different kind of firearms and you want to practice, sometimes you'll want to get one that can have the same target system, but will have the interchangeable cartridges that go in there for you. Um, it's a lot cheaper than buying ammo and going to the range. Nothing is better than actually live rounds down the range, but I can't do that in my living room. And if I don't have the time to go to the range, as much as I'd like to, which we never do. Um, it's a nice alternative to plink in your living room. Go through that. Um, I will tell you, I I'm hoping in one of these years I really really want it. They make an alarm clock it's a little gun that sits on your nightstand, and you put the alarm clock on the other room, and it has a little target that pops up, and you have to wake up in the morning. It'll only go off when you grab the gun and shoot it. I thought that was cool because that is really one of the best practicing tools that you could have. It's a little laser gun that you target your alarm clock and shoot it in the morning. So basically, it wakes you up from a sudden sleep like it's an attacker in the middle of the night, and you have to be accurate. That shot placement has to count, or that alarm ain't going off. I thought it was a cool deal. I would love to have one until I get one, and then I will probably hate it. It's just the way it goes. A lot of these training with the lasers you can get. I know Amazon sells them. Any of your gun stores around do. There's a lot of places that you can get these in. It's basically a dry fire laser system. But all it does is instead of being able to dry fire like I'm doing right here, and of course, never a real gun. I will let you know before when we have a real gun on here. But as you're shooting, I don't know if that was really good. I mean, I'm pretty good on my sights. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty accurate. But that laser is going to hit a target that I have over there and tell me exactly where it's going to be. So when I go through it, I can go right through right through and see where I'm hitting and where my target is. There's a lot of safety practices because you're not going to have a live round in there. You can't fit both a live round and that in there. So it does make it pretty safe. It does give, you practice drills. You could practice all kinds of stuff without live rounds and say, how accurate am I when I do that? When I do that, how accurate am I? I mean, if push comes to shove, am I way off base or am I on target? Laser system will get you there. It's really good. It also helps you build trigger discipline. So that laser will turn on generally when you pull the trigger. So you could learn how to safely pull that without doing this or this or this. I've seen a lot of movement with firearms when you're pulling the trigger. It also teaches you, see how my fingers through there? That's not how you ever pull a trigger right there. That's horrible practice because you want it right like that. So it teaches you, so when you go through, it teaches you not to go too far. That's what it'll teach you to do. So it helps teach you trigger discipline, how to pull it, placement of that trigger. There's a lot of stuff that will do that will give you that feedback of what happens when I don't do it right and how does that affect my shot placement. That's what's going to matter here. There's a lot of stuff. It also will help because the recoil can be hard on your joints. It's a lot, and anybody who's told you they've been shooting all day, they're a little sore afterwards. This eliminates any of that soreness, and it helps without any of that recoil. So it helps with there. It really does help creating daily practice because you don't have to go to the range. You don't say, oh, I'm going to go to the range and something comes up. You can say, yeah, I'll just set up the target. I can sit there and I'll spend 5-10 minutes shooting a target. And then if I do that every day, that practice is going to make you a better shooter. Instructors do like using these in the class. They're pretty good. Now, there are some, and I love it. There's a place, I've got to find one close to me, but I haven't found one. There's a place where they use laser pistols, and you have to be very careful because they use some very high power lasers. Now when you go to this place, you have to wear special goggles. You do have to be covered up, and then you wear a cowboy hat with a balloon on it, and then you play quick draw with whoever you're there with, and they will try to pop your balloon, and you're trying to pop theirs, and whoever's balloon pops first, they win. And they do a quick draw, and it's kind of like an old Western shoot, but that system, from what I understand, or one of them that I've seen, uses a high power laser to pop the balloon. They use a special balloon that's very sensitive, so it pops very easy. So with that laser and that balloon, it pops. I thought it was a cool little thing. Helps practice where you're at. It's kind of cool. People go paintballing for the same reason. There's a reason why airsoft is such a big deal. Airsoft is a good training tool as well. You can get one of those other than the lasers, which I prefer the lasers over those little airsoft because laser, you're training with a real firearm that you're going to use. That's the best. Now, if you're training with any training is better than none, but training with what you're intending to carry is best. It also you could shoot it. It shows you your target. You don't have to go chasing those little yellow balls all around, or get yelled at from your wife because they're all over the place, and because you missed on some targets. You know, so it's a lot cleaner. It's a lot less messy. I don't have to worry about one of those little yellow balls hitting the wall, bouncing off and hitting her, hitting a dog, hitting an animal, bouncing off, and who knows what can happen with those. The lasers are better, so that's what I would recommend. Let's go ahead and put it up one more time. Strikeman is laser hit. There are several other. Again, we're not associated with them. We're not sponsored by them by any way. I just like to point out good tools to use that will keep people practicing when they're not able to make the range. So if they want to sponsor me, I'm not gonna kick you out of bed for eating crackers. Let's be honest here. But if they want to sponsor me, they can. If anybody sponsors me, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna give a real review. So if you think you have a good product and you want to send me one, or you want to say, hey, can you test this? If you're from that company and you send it to me and you send me crap, I'm gonna tell people it's crap. Okay? If it's good, it's good. If you say, hey, this is it, and let me know. Say, hey, I'm sending you the beginner kit. It's by no far the best, but it's better than nothing. If I know that going in, I'm going to give you that review too. So I want to be honest. I'm not going to promote anything that I think is going to cause harm or that could be the opposite message of what I want to get through, which is training, education, and getting people safe and making sure everybody makes it home by the end of the day. That's all that's my main goal. So those are my goals. If you send me a product and you want me to review it, keep in mind it's going to be an honest review. So if you like what I say, like what I do, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you've used a laser training system, or if you have one that you like and it works good for you. Leave it in the comment. You can even leave a link in there. I don't mind, because that's just our community helping others find things that will make them safer, faster, sharper, and keep them safer. Education is key here. So like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment if you have something. We're on all podcast players. We're on all social media sites. Algorithms are the one things that do not like us. So we need you guys to like, subscribe, and follow, because this message is kind of a hard one to get out there. So until next time, make sure that that sight is spot on, and you got those lasers hit.